The streets of London have always been a melting pot of cultures and communities. However, in recent decades, a new breed of criminal has emerged from the shadows, the Albanian Mafia. With roots tracing back to the tumultuous Balkans, these ruthless operators have rapidly climbed the ranks of the UK's underworld. The collapse of communism in Albania in the early 1990s created a power vacuum quickly filled by organized crime. London, with its thriving economy and multicultural fabric, proved to be fertile ground for these enterprising criminals. Drug trafficking, particularly of cocaine and cannabis, became their early staples. They quickly gained a reputation for reliability and ruthlessness, often undercutting established players in the drug trade. They diversified into other criminal enterprises, including human trafficking, extortion, and money laundering. They also invested their illicit profits in legitimate businesses such as construction, real estate, and nightclubs, further entrenching their influence within the city. The Albanian Mafia's rapid rise in London's criminal underworld is due to their shrewd business tactics and effective use of violence. They operate with a hierarchical structure, with a powerful figure at the helm. Central to their operations is control of key drug trafficking routes. They have strong links with South American cocaine cartels. Profits from drug trafficking fuel other criminal activities. They use violence and intimidation to achieve their goals. Extreme violence is employed against rivals and debtors. This ruthlessness instills fear and maintains control. Strategic violence has been key to their rise to power. The Albanian Mafia's stranglehold on London's cocaine trade is a testament to their sophisticated smuggling operations. They have established intricate routes that funnel cocaine from South America into Europe and ultimately onto the streets of London. A key element of the Albanian Mafia's cocaine trafficking operations is their use of money mules, individuals who are recruited to transport small amounts of cash or drugs across borders. These mules are often unaware of the true nature of their cargo or the risks involved. The Albanian Mafia's use of money mules allows them to move large sums of money and drugs with relative ease, minimizing their own exposure to law enforcement. In addition to cocaine, the Albanian Mafia has also established a significant presence in the UK's cannabis market. They control large-scale cannabis farms, often hidden in plain sight in residential areas or on industrial estates. These farms are typically run by illegal immigrants who are forced to work in dangerous and exploitative conditions. Their sophisticated operations and their ruthless tactics have made them a formidable force in the UK's underworld. Violence is an intrinsic part of the Albanian Mafia's modus operandi, used not as a last resort, but as a strategic tool to maintain control and instill fear. Their methods are often brutal and send a chilling message to anyone who dares to challenge their authority. Whether it's a punishment beating or a public execution, the message is clear: defiance will not be tolerated. They have been linked to numerous murders, often carried out with cold-blooded efficiency. Beyond physical violence, the Albanian Mafia employs a range of intimidation tactics designed to break the will of their rivals and maintain control over their operations. Extortion is commonplace, with businesses and individuals forced to pay protection money under threat of violence or damage to their property. Those who refuse to comply often face swift and brutal retribution, sending a clear message to others who might consider crossing the Albanian Mafia. This code of silence makes it even harder for the authorities to gather evidence and build cases against the Albanian Mafia, allowing them to operate with a degree of impunity. Section 5. A silent rise to power. The Albanian Mafia's strategic expansion. The Albanian Mafia's ascent to power in London was not a sudden takeover, but rather a calculated and strategic expansion. They initially kept a low profile, infiltrating existing criminal networks and gradually expanding their influence. This stealthy approach allowed them to avoid attracting too much attention from law enforcement while they consolidated their power. A key factor in the Albanian Mafia's success has been their ability to forge alliances with other criminal organizations. They have established links with Turkish drug traffickers, Italian mafia groups, and various street gangs. These alliances provide them with access to new markets, resources, and expertise, further strengthening their position within the criminal underworld. They operate with a clear chain of command, with orders flowing down from senior figures to lower-level operatives. This disciplined approach ensures that operations run smoothly and that information is tightly controlled, making it difficult for law enforcement to infiltrate the organization. Section 6. The Turning Point. High-profile arrests and seizures. Despite their efforts to maintain a low profile, the Albanian Mafia's increasingly brazen activities eventually attracted the attention of law enforcement agencies. High-profile arrests and drug seizures began to expose the extent of their operations and the brutality of their methods, forcing authorities to acknowledge the growing threat they posed. One such turning point came with the arrest of a notorious Albanian crime boss who had been operating with impunity for years. The arrest, the result of a lengthy and complex investigation, sent shockwaves through the underworld and revealed the extent of the Albanian Mafia's reach into the upper echelons of British society. The arrest of this kingpin was followed by a series of raids on properties linked to the Albanian Mafia. These raids uncovered vast quantities of drugs, weapons, and cash, providing further evidence of the scale of their criminal enterprise. The high-profile arrests and seizures marked a turning point in the fight against the Albanian Mafia. Section 7. Politicians and police on the payroll: the depth of corruption. The Albanian Mafia's rise to power in London has been aided by their successful infiltration of various institutions, including law enforcement and government. Through bribery, intimidation, and blackmail, they have managed to corrupt officials at various levels, undermining the rule of law and creating an environment where they can operate with a degree of impunity. There have been numerous allegations of police officers being on the take, tipping off Albanian Mafia members about impending raids, or providing them with sensitive information. Some officers are believed to have turned a blind eye to their activities in exchange for bribes, while others may have been coerced into cooperating through threats or intimidation. This corruption within law enforcement has made it even more difficult to tackle the Albanian Mafia. The Albanian Mafia's influence is not limited to law enforcement. Addressing this corruption is essential if the authorities are to make any significant progress in dismantling their criminal networks. Despite recent efforts by law enforcement agencies to disrupt their activities, the Albanian Mafia remains a powerful force in London's underworld. They have shown themselves to be highly adaptable and resilient, quickly adjusting their tactics and operations in response to police pressure. The Albanian Mafia's control over significant portions of the drug trade continues to be a major source of their power and influence. They have established sophisticated smuggling routes and distribution networks, allowing them to flood the streets of London with cocaine, cannabis, and other illicit substances. The profits generated from these activities provide them with the financial resources to corrupt officials, acquire weapons, and expand their operations. In addition to drug trafficking, the Albanian Mafia is involved in a wide range of criminal activities, including human trafficking, extortion, and money laundering. They pose a significant threat to law and order in London and beyond, and their influence shows no signs of waning. Predicting the future of organized crime is a complex task, as it depends on various factors, including law enforcement efforts, political will, and socioeconomic conditions. However, based on current trends, it seems likely that the Albanian Mafia will remain a significant force in the UK for the foreseeable future. One possibility is that the Albanian Mafia will continue to expand its operations, both within London and beyond. They may seek to establish new drug trafficking routes, diversify into new criminal activities, and further infiltrate legitimate businesses. Their hierarchical structure, their willingness to use violence, and their ability to corrupt officials could enable them to continue their expansion. However, there is also the possibility of a more concerted crackdown on the Albanian Mafia by law enforcement agencies. Increased intelligence sharing between international agencies, combined with tougher legislation and better funded law enforcement, could disrupt their operations and weaken their grip on power. The future of the Albanian Mafia will likely depend on a complex interplay of these factors. The Albanian Mafia's activities have fueled violence, corruption, and fear in London communities. Their grip on the drug trade has led to increased addiction rates and gang violence. The Mafia's use of violence has instilled fear, making cooperation with law enforcement difficult. This code of silence hinders efforts to bring the Mafia to justice. Their corruption of officials undermines the rule of law and public trust. It creates an uneven playing field for legitimate businesses and entrenches their power. The Albanian Mafia's presence stains London's reputation as a global hub. Tackling this challenge requires a concerted effort from law enforcement, government, and communities. The rise of the Albanian Mafia in London is a stark reminder of the ever-present threat posed by organized crime. Their sophisticated tactics, their ruthlessness, and their ability to exploit vulnerabilities in society make them a formidable adversary. However, it is essential to remember that this is not a battle that can be won overnight. Combating organized crime requires a multifaceted approach that includes robust law enforcement, effective legislation, international cooperation, and community engagement. It also requires addressing the root causes of crime, such as poverty, inequality, and lack of opportunity. The fight against the Albanian Mafia is just one front in a much larger war against organized crime. The battle against organized crime is a continuous struggle, one that demands our unwavering attention and unwavering resolve.